to the channel. Today we are going to be doing what the Sword and the Stone part 2. Let's get straight into this video. Basically, we first start off where we left off. Izuku Midoriya just saved Mina Ashido and has met Ochako Uraraka, but he only saved Mina in this version of events. And also, I'm gonna add that Izuku got Ochako's phone number, but not Mina's. Not yet, anyway. So over these 2 weeks, Izuku and Uraraka have been hanging out, texting, doing what friends do. And Izuku, his charismatic self, always, lightened Uraraka's day up whenever she had some tough times because, as we saw in the anime, her family is going through a tough situation with money and stuff. So he did the best that he could. He met his father. He met Uraraka's father and Uraraka's mother and decided, like, you know what, I'm going to help them out the best way I can. I give them whatever they need. My mom, she's well off. So, I wouldn't say I wouldn't say she's well off, but she's not rich. She's like in the middle class. Like she could give people money without it damaging her bank account, but she doesn't have a mansion. She can't afford it. But at the same time, she could give somebody like rent. So she's not like rich, but she's not broke. I don't know how to explain it, but anyway, let's continue. So Izuku decided to work a job for, Ochako. And she couldn't thank him enough, so she decided to take him out with the money that she has. And they went roller skating, and they went to the arcade, and they finally decided to crash at Uraraka's place. So, Uraraka, did you have a good time today? I should be asking you that since I paid for everything. Uh, as she looked at her wallet, which was completely empty. And then it was just terrible, like depressing. And then as Izuku said, let's have a moment of silence for the wallet who has been completely emptied. And then as Uraraka laughed, saying, oh, that hurts. And then they both laughed in her room, just watching some TV. And then Uraraka said, Deku, Izuku, it's been a very, very amazing opportunity to meet you, and I'm so glad that we decided to talk to each other, and I hope our friendship can grow into something more along the way. And then as Izuku said to Uraraka, of course, I feel the exact same way. You're super amazing, you're funny, charismatic, you have a beautiful smile, and very, very beautiful brown eyes. So, what now? And then as she said, my parents will be home soon, so we should probably stay here and just chill until I get home, and you can walk home. And as Izuku smiled and said, yeah, I would like that. So all they really did was eat popcorn, tell funny jokes, stuff like that. Nothing really happened. What did y'all expect? They've only been hanging out for like 2 weeks because of the exam. Izuku had to wait 2 weeks, so they've only been really hanging out for 2 weeks. So I didn't want to rush the relationship. I mean, and as Izuku got the letter, of course he got in first place, Bakugo second, and so on and so forth. As Izuku was jumping with joy being above Bakugo and just seeing All Might congratulating him, it just warmed his heart, filled his heart up with joy. And also, I forgot to mention this, but the the sludge incident never really happened because, Bakugo was chasing Izuku in the woods. So, All Might captured the sludge villain. So, yeah, I forgot to mention that last part. But anyway, let's continue. As Izuku, and Uraraka finally decided to go to UA together. She's in class 1A too, and Izuku's obviously in class 1A. And as they were walking together to class, as Mina saw, Izuku walked up to him and slapped him on the head. Ah, me, huh? Oh, hey Mina, how are you? How you been? And she was like, I'm doing good. How are you, Izuku? Um, doing good. Oh, by the way, this is Ochako Uraraka. Chaka Uraraka, my other friend that I met at the exam, Minashiro. So, I forgot to ask you this last time we saw each other, but do you think I could have your contact information? I forgot to ask. Sorry. Oh, yeah, sure. As Mina gave Izuku her contact information, and Uraraka felt a little jealous, a little jealous, felt a little some. And then as she walked up to Izuku and said, "You coming?" And he was like, "Oh yeah, by the way, Mina, what class you in?" She said, "Class 1A." He's like, "Oh yeah, me and her are in the same class as you. Oh, y'all want to walk together?" And then as she looked at Ochako and smiled and said, "Sure." As they were all walking, and as Izuku asked both of them how their weekend was, because Izuku was training for Sunday and Monday, so he didn't really have time to hang out with Ochako, unfortunately. He was coming up with some new moves over the weeks. He was coming up with some new moves, so he spent all his time training, and yeah, so didn't really have time. And he apologized to Araka for that, and she said it's cool. So as they got to the class, and then as Izuku sensed Aizawa, and as he looked out of the door, and then as he saw Aizawa kind of slithering towards the room, and then as he got shocked and started to unsheath his blade, and then as Aizawa saw that, and as he got alerted as well, and quickly got out of the sleeping bag and tried to grab Izuku's arm. And then as Izuku can sense that, and as he grabbed the scarf and then wrapped it around his arm, pulled Aizawa towards him and was about to slash him. But then as he said, "Wait, I'm your teeth!" As Izuku was seconds away from slashing Aizawa's head off, he said, "Oh, you're the teacher. Huh. What were you doing on the floor?" I was don't worry about it, kid. Just go sit down. Uh, oh, I already can tell he's gonna be a problem child, Aizawa said to himself. And he's fast too, with nice reaction speeds. And he's also probably gonna be my favorite. Now, as Aizawa actually walked into the room, and yes, everybody did see that, including Bakugo, and he got mad. He was gonna say something to Izuku, but Aizawa stopped all of the talking and said, "Hello, my name. It's not important. All you need to know is I'm your homeroom teacher for the next 3 years. And I will be teaching you about heroics and regular school stuff." So, as Aizawa pulled the UA uniforms, or the UA training uniforms, out of his sleeping bag and said, "Take these, go to the locker room, and head out to Site B, to ground C, I think. Anyway, let's continue. And then as Izuku got up, along with Mina and Uraraka, and just followed them, taking the clothes. As everything happened in canon, and as Izuku stopped Mineta from peeping by just putting the sword in his face and causing his nose to bleed a little bit because of the sharp tip of the sword. And as Ida walked up to Izuku, was like, "Yo, why do you stop the sword?" And then Izuku was like, "Again, permission." And it's just my quirk. This is just my quirk, okay? Well, what exactly is your quirk? My quirk is called Lunar. Basically, every time that I activate the sword ignites with this grayish, fire-ish aura around it, and also my hair spikes up a little bit and turns gray, like the moon, and my eyes turn gray as well. Or one of my eyes turn gray and it lights on fire, gray fire, and gray fire ignites on the blade, and I can activate it on and off whenever I want to, but it looks more cooler when I have it ignited, so just keep it like that. I can't really unsummon it, so I have to carry it around everywhere I go, and without it, I'm pretty much useless. I do know a little bit of fighting skills, and I do know swordsmanship, but I don't have any supernatural abilities without the sword. But I'm not useless, but I kind of am. It's a long story. Oh, interesting. As everybody got out, and as I was waiting, and then he said, "Too long." And then as he looked at Izuku and threw the ball at him, Izuku caught it, and then as he said, "You want me to throw this, Teach?" And then as Aizawa said, "Yes." "How far was your last throw in middle school?" "Uh, about 10 meters or so, maybe." And as Izuku was just kind of shy about saying that, and then as he said, "Yeah, I was kind of weak, but now." Then as he flexed his muscles, showing a lot, and I mean a bulky amount of muscles, "I'm stronger," and did a little cocky smirk. And then as Bakugo said, "Huh, not stronger than me. You're still a useless Deku." "Actually, I am stronger than you, but unfortunately, we won't be able to test that until the hero courses." And yes, they do have a schedule, and Izuku saw all of the things that they were going to be doing. The hero classes were last in the day. So, as Bakugo said, "Huh, I'll destroy you once and for all. And maybe I'll take that girl that you were talking to." And then, as Izuku just grabbed Bakugo by the neck and said, "You better watch your tone, boy, or else I'm gonna have to do something that I really don't want to do. And we just got here. Let's not fight, Bakugo." And then, as Izuku's right eye ignited with a gray flame, as Bakugo said, "Fuck you." And then as Izuku just dropped him and walked back to the circle. And then as I always said, "Are you done yet?" "Yeah, Teach, we're done here." "Anyway, you want me to throw this with my quirk?" And then as Aizawa nodded his head. "Yeah." So here's the thing. Izuku has to be like near the sword for him to activate his supernatural abilities. Like for example, as it is in like if it's around his body, he will be able to use it. But if it's, let's say, 1 mile away from his body, he's useless. But closer than a mile, if it's closer than a mile, he can still use it. But if it's away from him more than a mile, he can't use it. He can't use his like superhuman speed, strength, and durability, and regeneration and stuff like that. Anyway, let's continue. As Izuku's right eye glowed gray, he smirked and said, "I'll eat you," and threw the ball. As the ball went, let's say, 15,000 miles. As everybody was shocked, and as Mina said, "This is fun." As Izuku looked at Mina and said, "Doll, you're cute, but why did you have to say that?" And as Aizawa said, "Huh, so this is fun. Well, let's make it more challenging, shall we? The last person who gets last place is expelled." As everybody was like, "You can't do that." And then as Izuku said, "Hate to break it to you guys, but nothing in life is fair. Being bullied for half of your life because you're quirkless isn't fair. Seeing the world around you change because of people who want the world to change for evil is not fair. Seeing everybody around you going through something that you don't know what it feels like, but you're just so helpless to the fact that you can't do anything about it. Watching everything from your hands slip away because you're powerless. You can't do anything about it. Life's not fair, but our job as heroes are to fight against that fairness. Give people what they Give people their freedom. Give people what they need in life: protection, safety, and reassurance, and that we will be there to help them." As everybody was just silent and thinking about what Izuku said, and then as everybody got pumped up because, that speech was amazing, if I do say so myself, but let's continue. As everybody got the same scores they did in canon, but except Izuku, he got second place because of Momoya Rozu. And as he was shocked, and then as he said, "What? How? I'm stronger than her. What? That's not. I, I, Ugh! And then as Mina and Uraka were laughing at Izuku's frustration, and then as he said, "You guys like to see my suffering, don't you?" As they both nodded and said yes. As they both looked at each other with a strange glare that Izuku said, "What? What's those glares about?" And then as they looked back at Izuku and said, "Oh, nothing," but was side-eyeing each other. Now, everything happens normal. Uh, classes, lunch, Izuku, Uraka, and Mina hanging out together. Bakugo trying to bully Izuku, but Izuku doesn't let that slide. It always ends up with Izuku making his eyes glow gray and Bakugo backing off until it was finally time for the hero training, for the actual hero training. And Izuku's hero suit will be nothing special, but he will have a cape with a utility belt. See, basically, his utility belt comes with smoke grenades, smoke bombs. Um, let's see, a walkie-talkie that can reach about 2,000 miles apart, and yeah, and also Izuku does have some adrenaline boosters, just in case his stamina runs out and all that juicy stuff. And Izuku will have a gray cape with a moon crescent on it. Like kind of like Moon Knight's cape with the hoodie and everything, but it has a moon, a crescent on it actually, on the back of it. And it's gray instead of white. And Izuku's other half of his costume is a tight long sleeve shirt and some art, some jogging pants. Yeah, jogging pants. And then as everybody was looking at Izuku like, huh? That's your hero suit? Yeah, I didn't really want anything to be flashy, and my quirk is already strong enough on its own and doesn't really have a weakness for the people to combat with. But I did want a cape with a crescent on it, and also the cape is elemental proof, and I can kind of use it as a shield for non-physical attacks, even though I have full counter. But the capes just look cool. And also, this utility belt comes equipped with everything you need just in case there's basically nothing. And the shirt is, stabbing proof. It's made out of a special alloy, kind of like Aizawa's scarf, but just a little tougher. And the pants, eh, nothing really special about the pants. Just jogging pants, bro. And they look cool. And Izuku is wearing he's just wearing his iconic red shoes. And these shoes I've had ever since I was a kid. So, yeah, don't want anything flashy. And as Izuku sticked out his tongue and smiled a little bit. As Uraraka and Mina blushed, and as they said, "So cute." Now, let's get to the exam. Every partner happens. Every partner is still the same partner. That includes Izuku and Ochako. So now we start with Izuku versus Bakugo. And then as Izuku was looking very, very serious, and his eyes started to glow, and his right eye started to glow gray. And as oh, 19 minutes. And as Ochako asked him, "What was wrong, Izuku?" Well, remember when I was talking about how it's not fair that people are being bullied? And Ochako nodded her head. Well, I was unfortunately in that circumstance myself. And then she said, "Why? You have such a strong quirk. People will never be able to mess with you." Well, it hasn't always been like this. I'm a late bloomer, so it's my quirk just appeared, and I'm still learning the ropes and still trying to figure out how to properly wield it. Some mishaps here and there, but mostly it's fine. And then as Uraraka touched Izuku's shoulder and said, "Well, I'll be here for you, since you were here for me all of this time, Izuku. And then as they looked at each other and started to inch closer and closer and closer, Hero Team, enter! And as the moment was broken by All Might, and then as Izuku started to cry and clenched his fist and looked back and said, I'll kill you, All Might. And then as All Might felt a shiver down his spine, he was like, huh? What just happened? And then as Izuku and Uraraka entered into the building. Now, Bakugo is gonna be a little more smarter since he's been training, and I mean training, doing bone muscle training, doing 10-kilometer runs, doing about like 50 push-ups and bench pressing. He's been working, bro. He's been working hard because he does not want to keep taking L's from Izuku. So he's like, yo, I'm gonna beat Izuku real bad, and then he's gonna know who the alpha male is. Why did I say that? Why did I say alpha male? I meant who's more superior. Oh my god, I'm so sorry, guys. Why did I say that? I'm sorry. I understand if you want to unsubscribe for me just saying that. But anyway, let's continue on with this with this story. As Bakugo finally found Izuku, and he can maneuver like Endeavor actually with his explosions, like he did in season 5 when Todoroki, Izuku, and Bakugo saved Natsu. He can maneuver like that, but better. And also his AP shots are stronger, and also he has the impact hurricane, which basically he can, like he did in the third movie of My Hero Academia, where it was Mission against those twins. That's what he did. I forgot the name of the thing, but I'm just gonna call it Howitzer Tornado or something like that. Maybe I don't know. He came up with a new few moves that he would love to try out on Izuku. And then as he finally came around the corner, but instead of just actually guns blazing, he walked towards Izuku. And then as Izuku said to Uraraka, I'll handle this. Go find Ida. This will be quick. And then as Izuku unsheathed his sword, and as the sword started to glow, and then as Izuku's right eye started to glow gray. And then as Uraraka nodded at Izuku and said, be safe, Izuku, and ran away. And Uraraka does know karate. She does know how to fight back. She's actually not useless. Don't mean to call her useless, but that's what she was in like season 1, like before the internships. But Uraraka does know some takedown techniques and how to disarm an opponent, how to do all that jazz. And also she does know hand-to-hand combat. She's pretty good at it. I'll give her like a 6.5 out of 10. She still has a lot to learn. But anyway, let's continue. As they were slowly walking towards each other, and then as Izuku said, I'll make you pay. I'll make you pay for everything that you've done to me. Up until now, Bakugo. Because now, I can actually give you a good fight. Then as Bakugo started to use his explosions, and then as he says, I'm counting on it. You damn Deku. As Izuku rushed out of Bakugo, trying to slash Bakugo on his cheek and trying to end things quickly, but Bakugo was easily able to maneuver around this attack and explode Izuku in the arm. And then as Izuku, was sent flying, but he came back with a roundhouse kick to Bakugo's cranium. Then as Bakugo sent saliva out of his mouth a little bit, and his arm shot back and shot explosions at Izuku, which caused him to get blown back. And then as Izuku said, Howling Lunar Eclipse! No, that's not what I meant to come out. That's not what was. Howling Eclipse! Basically, the Howling Eclipse is basically where Izuku screams at the top of his lungs, basically, and tries to disorientate his opponent. And it can reach to about 10,000 miles as well. And then as Bakugo's ear started to bleed a little bit because because they just got bursted and his eyes were blurry. Izuku took that opportunity to start putting slash marks all over Bakugo's body. And then as Bakugo regained his footing and shot a couple of AP shots at Izuku, Izuku did some full counter, and this just kept going back and forth for a while until Izuku actually dodged and was gonna slash Bakugo, but Bakugo sacrificed one of his gauntlets and punched Izuku square in the face with a right hook. As Izuku's nose started to bleed a little bit, and as Izuku said, "You did get stronger, Bakugo, but yet I haven't hit the ground yet, and it looks like you're in more rougher shape than I am. Do you really think you could continue fighting on like this? No, but my trump card is ready." Click. As you can hear a click coming from Bakugo's gauntlet, and then as he explained everything that the gauntlet is, as he did in canon, and then as Izuku's eyes widened and was preparing for the attack, "I hope you die!" And as Bakugo released the attack. See, what I forgot to mention is the revenge counter can be overpowered if the non-physical attack is super powerful and like very just like uncontrollable. It can be overwhelmed, and Izuku and Bakugo are in a closed space, so he can't really use revenge counter or full counter, or the building will collapse and everybody will die, literally and figuratively. So Izuku just had to power through the pain. And then as All Might said, "Bakugo, why?" And then as Izuku somehow was still standing with his sword, and then as his clothes were burned except for the cape, his shirt was completely burnt off, and some of his shorts. Well, his pants now became shorts. And as he was slowly walking towards Bakugo, and as he said, "Effing 15 years. 15 years of your bullying, your torment, you telling me to jump off a building. All of those bloody noses, those broken bones, everything you've done to me. And I forgave you. Until that one fateful day when I found my source, my power." And also, if you're wondering why Bakugo hasn't told anyone that Izuku actually is quirkless and the sword is the source of his power, Izuku threatened Bakugo, basically, "If you tell anyone, I'm gonna destroy you." And that was before Bakugo trained, so he was a little cowardice. But now he's standing tall and trying to fight Izuku. And then as Izuku's right eye was glowing more than ever. And then as his sword finally ignited, and then as he said, "I'll teach you a lesson about messing with the future. Number one hero, Lunar Fall!" And then as Izuku actually just completely let out his most powerful attack on Bakugo, which sent him flying right out of the building and sending some of the windows bursting open. And that gave Uraraka enough time to grab the bomb, and the hero team wins. And that will be all for today, because this video is 28 minutes long, and this was like my 20th time trying to record the video, and it finally came out. Superb. Chef's kiss. I just want to thank you all for indulging in this video, and I hope to make another What If part of this, and probably What If Deku Was a Mercenary part 1. I didn't expect it to get that many views, and probably What If Deku Was Robin, since it has 70 views. But now, it's time for me to go and sleep, because I'm sleepy. I'll see you all later. Thank you for supporting me, and peace. Have a good day.